Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our Tuesday morning trading session. Oh, I see. I've forgotten to put my trade manager on my chart, so well, that might be a good thing. Slow me down a little bit rather than going whole hog trying to catch a trade this morning. Oh, and the trade manager's taking a long time to load. Oh, there we go. Okay. Everything's good. I thought for a second there it was going to give me a little bit of trouble, but I think it's just the market's moving so fast. Now, today is the opposite of what we saw yesterday, really. Today, the market opened with a gap up, which I'll show you in just a moment. Yeah, I knew I was missing something here. Okay. It's hard to see because the overnight, you can see, was very, very active. And you can see we're going out of scalp mode in about a minute. We're going to enter trend mode. So we'll see how long that trend mode is anticipated to last. But look at this overnight session in the NASDAQ. Is that wild or what? At any rate, the market closed. Let's see if I can find the close. Oh, and this was the Asian session. A lot of times the Asian session's a little quiet. No, not yesterday. Oh, come on. Market close, where are you? So a frenzy going into the close. The market closed about right here. Not that it mattered because things were still going crazy. And this is now our opening gap. Pretty nuts, isn't it? Nutso. All right, we're working on a trend change signal here. Everything is still up in the air, though. A little bit of a feeding frenzy going on. We've got a 4-arrow consolidation and a macro pullback building. Oh, that's into yellow bars now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's only been a couple of minutes since the market opened. I think I'm going to sit on my hands just a little bit longer. All right, here's the eagle. I'm going to take a poke at this one here. Oh, just a second too late. Should have come over there just a little bit faster. Well, there was a very nice little move. Look at that, didn't even hesitate until it got to our profit target. And then look at what happened. Oh my gosh, it's going to be one of those days, is it? All right, well, while we're waiting for an appropriate signal, let me load my trade manager on. I've got the British pound and crude oil up this morning, both of which are dead by comparison to the NASDAQ. Floyd says my screen wasn't coming through. I hope that's been rectified since. If not, let me know. Ooh, Jim says the advanced decline terribly lopsided the other way this morning. We've got 1,500 buyers and only 127 sellers. So that's like a positive 1,350. But remember, advanced decline numbers tend to be relative. Relative to each other is what I mean. Okay, here we've got a possible signal on the Raptor. Now the Trailblazer might be handy on a day like today. We're working on a double pullback, but if we come out with a buy signal here, we're going to see perhaps a little bit of a hop to the upside. All right, there's our double pullback. If it takes out this low, I'll sell it. All right, let's see whether or not they can follow through on that now. This is a total shot in the dark. It is a double pullback, but really the way the markets are going today, All right, so there's our break even. Come on, get down there. Get that profit target. Come on. You can do it. Oh, gee. Just hovering. I'd like to see them fail here now and actually head higher and produce a buy signal, because that would give us our test of the extreme here. And that would give us an opportunity to buy the market up. There it is. There's the buy signal. Let's see. Oh, look at that. They're going to come spank me here in just a second. Well, let's put that away. Now, it wasn't a bad signal, what I attempted to do here. What we were looking at was a double pullback signal, which almost hit the profit target. Well, I suppose it did hit the profit target. I got in a little bit late. So it did hit the profit target. I shouldn't say almost hit the profit target. But then what we were looking at is a possible failure. Now, when these things unfold a little bit more slowly, what we actually have here is a great big test of the extreme. And now we're looking for the buyers to maintain control of the market. We came through, we produced a buy signal right here, but the sellers just squashed them and sent them lower. But look at where we are again. Whole test of the extreme thing going on again, and no follow through to the upside. So it looks like sellers, maybe the bears may be in control here today. But what kind of stops do you have to run to ride this out? This is just crazy. It's like you need to run a monster stop. Well, if that's what it takes, I guess that's what it's going to take. See, here come the buyers again. So we did have the right idea. We just couldn't ride the swing. See, what I was attempting to do is we bought here. I moved my stop actually below here. What happens? They come down, they tag us, just fudge it a little bit, and then go higher. So we did have the right idea, and we couldn't do much with it. All right, I'll give it one more shot. I'll take it above the high of the current bar. No, we didn't get it. One more try. There it is. Okay, buyers, you got to follow through on this now. Aye, okay, that's enough for me. 2 in a row like that. If there's a downside with the Trailblazer, it's that it's easy to enter on market. Sometimes with the trade manager, where you set up your signal, like say this green bar sell, you can set up where you want to enter. And sometimes I like that, where you make the market prove you right before you get into the trade. So this would essentially be our signal, but we're against the ATR, so this now becomes our signal bar. I could make the market prove me right before getting into the trade. In other words, it has to exceed that low. Oh, look at that horrible chop. Yeah, Jim says the ticks are positive, but it's still dropping. Again, ticks are relative. You know, if the ticks are like a positive, whatever, 300 or 400, that's normally very bullish. However, where were they before that? You know, if they were a positive 1,000, a lot of traders who follow ticks, if it hits the 1,000 mark, they fade. So if it's a positive 1,000, they'll sell. If it's a negative 1,000, they'll buy. There we go. Looks like we had a little bit of commitment on that move. Yeah, like Jim says, this is all amped up 10 times. It's almost if you've ever used the market replay on Ninja and you can set the speed. This is almost like trying to play market replay when you set it on high. Okay, it does appear as though the sellers still have control, so let me try this one more time. Alright, so this was our signal. This next bar became our signal bar. That was the one that turned the ATR over. This low right here is the obvious problem. If the market turns here, well, it's just going to turn around and spank me again. Alright, so where are you, sellers? Come on. This is one of these emotional roller coaster markets. These are the markets that you have to be very, very careful of. Aside from the obvious reasons, it is so easy to start chasing your tail because, you know, it's going to be easy to take a losing trade. Oh, if this one spanks me for a third time, then yeah. See, there's nothing going on here. Did you see they just reached up there, grabbed the profit target? There's voids everywhere in the order flow. The orders are just so big. They're slipping higher, they're slipping lower. Wow. No, not a good day to trade. You know, in hindsight, you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to say, oh, look, late filter entry signal. Oh, look, a trend change signal, which actually was our late filter entry signal also. Oh, look, a trend change signal to the downside. But when they're developing real time like this, you just have no time to even figure out what's going on here. You can't even process the signal mentally, and just to throw orders in any old place. I get a feeling that James is quite the comedian. He says, I'm sitting on my hands, my nerves are shot, I can't do this. Yeah, I know. These are the obviously very, very challenging markets to trade, but they're almost untradeable. I had very modest targets on each of the 3 trades I took. Very modest targets. Like, look at the follow through on some of these moves. You know, huge, big move up, big move lower. But it is so choppy. Now, mind you, it is still opening range. And perhaps in hindsight, the thing to do is just let the entire opening range pass. Yeah, Jim says we need Adam's black box program. I'm not sure it would. Well, obviously the computer entering the signals would make it easier. I was looking at this macro or this first micro macro cross right here. I was just about to perhaps try to throw something on there, and it looks like that would have worked out very well. A nice trend change signal here in the Falcon at the same time. And that too, I believe, just hit the profit target. Yeah, there you go. Just found the profit target and reversed. Yeah, the only uptick to using the black box system today is the computer, when it comes to analyzing signals like this, would obviously do it much faster. All right, one more try. I'd better get a stop and play here. Well, at least that one got out at break even. So what I was looking at here was yet another test of the extreme. A double pullback, maybe a move lower. Now we're getting a test of the extreme lower, maybe a move higher. You know what I'm going to try here in a moment? We'll see how this works out here. But I wonder if this type of day would fare better because of the extreme choppiness. If we identified ranges like here and looked at trading the breakouts. Micah is asking, when's the black box coming out? There are no plans to release it. It's still a work in progress. On Now, maybe I shouldn't say this, because if Adam ever releases it or finishes the work on it, I don't want to talk people out of buying something they might like. But my own personal opinion about a black box is I don't know if I want to trust a computer to make my trading decisions for me. Okay, we've got an obvious resistance at the top here. Let's see if we get a little bit of a hop at the bottom and make a range. Okay, so we got a little bit of a range to the top and to the bottom now. So I'm going to try a little bracket scenario, see if that plays out better. I'm only doing this on the Raptor because it seems the most obvious. I can do it on the Eagle, I can do it on the Falcon, I can do it on whatever. Okay, now with the Raptor, you need to remember that it does not have the OCO function, so you need to cancel your other order. Come on, you scoundrels, you better get down there to at least that break even. But whether I make a decision right or wrong, I still have control over my money. Having a computer trade my money, I don't know about that. I know there's lots of trading computers on the market. I mean, on Wall Street market, not at your Best Buy. Yeah, like Jim says, you can throw 5,000 in an account and see what happens. And you know, there is periodic testing with it. I'll I'll ask Adam about it. But like I say, my own personal opinion is that the money is too dear to me to leave it to a computer to trade. If I'm gonna lose it, well, I'm gonna lose it. I'm not gonna let a computer lose it for me. And if I'm gonna make it, well, I'm gonna make it. All right. Well, lo and behold, we may have actually caught the right side of the market for a change. We have a minimal profit in play, or secured anyways, with our trailing stop. No guarantees here, of course. Oh, no. Oh, this is too much today. Well, you know what? At least they didn't suck us in on the vacuum. The last few times they've hit our trailing stop, they've always come within a tick or two, and there's been like that trading gap in there. I missed Neil's comment earlier. Neil says it's crazy, but not as much as yesterday. I feel like this might shake out today. What do you think? Uh, Yesterday's action was actually historical. You know, if you've never, I've never ever seen the NQ or the stock indices trade like that. Um, so it's like watching the millennium come in. You know, there's only a few of us that will. Well, we know we won't be around for the next millennium, and it's usually only every, what is it, third generation that sees a millennium change, or yeah, sorry, getting my numbers mixed up here. Well, what you saw in the NQ yesterday was just as historical in the financial world. To see the NQ lock so that they actually had to pause trading. All right, so we're fighting with the lows now. We've got a miniature range. So we've got a miniature range here on the high where our stop is, and on the lows below here. And they're going to tap me. Scoundrels. Oh, is it the top of the hour already? My goodness, what a busy half hour. So here's the range of the first half hour, and you can see it's nuts. Nuts. But in regards to Neil's comment, yeah, the market can't sustain that kind of activity. Whether it will shake out today or tomorrow or even the day after is hard to say, but yeah, it's very, very frenzied. It can't keep up that pace. Mark says, so much for being in trend mode. Supposed to be in trend mode for a little bit more than an hour. Yeah, I think you're right, though. Mark says the swings aren't as drastic. No, they're a little bit more subdued. Where was the market open? Wow, look at all this activity we've already had. So this was all scalp mode through here, and you can see this is our eagle. Some fairly substantial little pullbacks, and of course we experienced several of those. Now we're in trend mode. It's not so much that the market has actually chose a direction or picked a direction, but that the swings seem to be a little steadier. So it's like throw a dart. Here's a signal on the eagle now. Yeah, no kidding. Neil says, is there a slow motion button I can push? Okay, this is another one of these. It's almost like every trade here this morning is one of these hit and hope type trades. Well, come on, give me a green bar sell out of that. Nope. All right, let's cancel that. The Falcon seems to be producing some pretty solid signals. Maybe we'll watch the Falcon for a little while here. We've been getting some decent trend change signals. Here was a trend change to the downside. Here was a trend change to the upside. You'd have to keep your stop back. Let's see if I could afford to do that one. So there was a trend change to the upside. If I could have covered down there? Oh, I could. Did it get up to the profit target? Yes, it did. Here now is a late filter entry on the Falcon. Let's see if that has any follow through. As we're back near the top end of this trading range. Well done, Joe. Joe says, yesterday was definitely historical. That was my most profitable day ever. Well done. Anybody, hats off to you. If you took any money out of the market yesterday, good for you. That was just some crazy trading going on. All right, so we've got this little swing low here. Probably a good spot to roll the stops. Let's see if I can go with a faster strategy now. We'll go with the parabolics. Try to minimize the bleeding if it goes the other way. And you know what? I'm going to see whether this one will run. Wow, that's so close to the break even. No. Get up there. Here, I'm gonna give you a little help. Get up there. All right, so that's close enough to the break even. I'm gonna force it. There we go. We hit the break even. And the market hits us. The lack of direction, I can't bring myself to leave my stop way back here. I know I've said to you that sometimes you need to treat the market like a poker game where you just ante, count the money gone. You're the big blind. If you play poker, you're the big blind. Your money is gone, right? You might as well bet. You might as well stay and at least see what cards come out. And there I go. I just folded. Yeah, Mark says the swings seem pretty dramatic for trend mode. Well, everything is amplified, right? It's just like everybody's been saying, the market's on crack. Everything is faster and all the swings are more pronounced. Normally by now we would have had some sort of defined direction, but we get signals moving higher, we get signals moving lower. Now we're working on a possible trend change to the upside. See, so we're going to get a trend change signal this way. Oops, a little bit too slow. Or the market's a little bit too fast. Well, there we go. All right, Raptor. I'll try you one more time here. We're right back to the top end of the trading range. The clouds have crossed over. Haven't really seen a major test of the extreme here, but we'll see whether or not we can get any kind of follow through on this one. No, there they go again. So we're contending with the top end of the range here, hoping to see if we break here, the sellers scramble. Well, it's kind of got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sellers scramble. What we would end up doing is trapping the sellers out of their position, but it seems like there's... Oh, actually trading is light. Nothing like what the numbers we were seeing yesterday. Still a lot of onesie-twosie stuff here. But they're pretty evenly balanced, it looks like, at least according to the Geiger counter. Come on, yellow bar, go up. So this is working on a double pullback to the upside now, if they don't tap me first. So there's pullback 1, there's pullback 2, looking for the buy, and perhaps the better thing to have done would have just been to place that buy order above the high. Yeah, I agree with Joe. Joe says it looks like it's just a sit out and observe kind of day. After my second loss, I would have gone into sim mode. Whenever you take two solid signals, I'm talking things like first micro macro crossovers, trend change signals on your Falcon, red bar buy, green bar sells on your Eagle, and you don't get the follow through. All right, here we are back at the top end. And you don't get the follow through on the signal. It's one of those days. The day is just off. The market is not behaving as it should. We're getting far too many conflicting signals here today. Normally, and you guys have seen me do this in the room, if I get a trade paying off one direction, let's say we sell the market, turns out to be a winning trade, I will focus on selling for the remainder of that session. If we sell the market and the trade fails, well, then that tells me the sellers are not so strong. Maybe I'll focus on buying for that session. But we've just got insane volumes, sporadic follow through. You might be able to make some money using options on a day like today, but short of that, we'll try it again here. Short of that, I'm not sure what you can do. See, again, we're struggling now with the follow through. No, see, now we're getting a test to the downside. All right, well, if the buyers recover this bar, there's a chance, but otherwise the sellers are going to run to the lows here. Now our stops are below the lows, so we know if it fails there, at least we know we got stopped at a technically sound place, but that doesn't make it any more palatable. This bar right here is the key bar. If this bar finishes to the upside, there we go. All right, we've got a chance now. Go. Go. Go like somebody stole you. There you go. Well, that was a whole lot of effort for minimal reward. I shouldn't complain, should I? At least it was a winning trade. So, just checking the support and resistance suite, we just kept nailing that primary resistance over and over again. Yikes, look at that. Every time it came down to the primary resistance, boom, up it goes, up it goes, up it goes. And look at these ranges between the lines. You talk about volatility, wow. Support and resistance zones are really wide apart. Yeah, Joe's right. Market's got ADHD. Absolutely. Okay, they are starting to simmer a little bit. Visually, you can see that it seems a little slower. All right. Well, they've almost slowed to a reasonable pace here, haven't they? Still a little active, but better. Okay, I'm going to do what I should have done at the beginning of this session. I'm going to go get myself something to drink. Oh, not that kind of drink. All right, you guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And let's see what we got going on here. Still kind of flirting with the this trading range that we had established earlier, even though the market has been extremely choppy. Okay, we just had a trend change signal here on the Falcon, so that's encouraging. That's looking like the market's ready to head a little bit lower. We also had a sell signal here on the Raptor, which has since moved a little bit out of range, but perhaps we can use this bar here as a second push. So all I do with a second push entry is if the market, I let the signal engage and show me how low, in this case, how low it's prepared to go before it swings. Now the danger, of course, is that sometimes the market will move a considerable distance. The upshot is you don't get into the trade too early. So there's a definite trade-off there. Occasionally it's to your advantage to get into a trade early. Still not getting any really solid signals here. Okay, and we're getting a green bar sell here on the hawk, which seemed to have some decent follow through to it. Now we're right back to where we were before here on our Raptor. Oh, let's get that stop enabled. If you ever find yourself in a panic situation, don't forget that you can force the trade just by hitting your close button. Right? That's why they made that close button so big, so that you could find it easier. All right, so working on a possible double pullback here. Here we go. Let's try this one more time. I'm trying to see if I can catch a runner here, but so far, no luck. Come on, Raptor. No. Doggone it. You're really starting to tick me off, you know that? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Get up there. Tap it. You know you're going to. Doggone stupid. Think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. So, you know, we got to test to the extreme. Are they going to blow to the upside here? Your guess is as good as mine at this point. We've got a first micro macro cross on the hawk. We're into the hard edge on the eagle. We're right in the middle of our trading range in the Raptor. So here comes the eagle once more with a hard edge bounce. This bar, this current bar here, is going to be our signal bar. And I know it's the signal bar. The signal actually printed here, but it's going to take this bar to turn the ATR over. We're going to use the ATR as a filter. So you see now the ATR is turned over. So this essentially becomes our signal bar, although I'm not sure why it matters on a day like today. So here we are, struggling with the lows. Get below that low, and we're going to see a little bit of movement. Look at that, right on the number. Nobody took 48. Not yet. So we really need to see somebody take 41, 48. says, it's good to hear I'm not the only one that talks to my computer while trading. What's really funny is my wife, she talks to the television, especially when the news is on. I don't know why she watches the news. It makes her so angry. But she does. And then she has the annoying habit of telling me the news. And she'll tell me the worst news either just before I sit down to eat or just before I go to bed. She's got a weird sense of humor, that one. Well, somebody tapped 48, but we're going to need a little bit more out of them than that, I'm afraid. Yeah, there they go again. Painful. Just painful. And here we come now with a green bar sell. The market wants to head lower today. It really does. And don't do as I do, please. Do as I say. This is definitely a day, I think, to be trading in sim. Yeah, Joe's got the right idea. He says, I'm staying out today. Smart man. All right, so here's that green bar sell signal. We got two back to back. And here we are again at 41.48. Now we need 41.47, which is the low of our last little swing here. If we can see 41.47. There we go, 7.25, 7.47 even. All right now, come on, you know you want to go lower. I'm going to roll my stop a little bit closer to my profit target. No, nothing. Oh, come on. You know, it'd be nice to at least get a little follow through on one of the signals. Yeah, definitely, guys. I'm getting a few comments here about people saying they're flat today. That's the thing to do. You know, we're here in the trading room. We're kind of horsing around a little bit, truth be told, but there's not much else to do with this market right now. There's really no way to trade today. I've tried a couple different things. You know, I've tried bracketing. I've tried waiting on stronger signals. We're just not getting the follow through. A lot of the trades I've managed to get to break even. Some of them have been losers. I've only been trading singles, which is the good news. But even so, those, you know, $200 and $300 hits, they'll add up. They'll add up in a hurry. So here's another major congestion area. In fact, the entire day has been a relatively tight range. I think we topped, well, relatively tight. I think we topped around 42. I remember seeing 4,200. And the bottom, well, we're somewhere near the bottom, I think, around, what were we, about 44.40, 41.40, I mean. Oh, all I need to do is take a look at the first hour. So approximately 41.83, 84, and 41.34. And we're trading right in the heart of that. Just waffling one way and then the other. Our eagle's a mess. Our hawk is a mess. Look at this. Look at all these yellow bars. I suppose the thing to do on a day like today is not dig a hole so deep you can't get out of it tomorrow. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what gives here. We'll hang out for a few more minutes, but you know, it's almost as though the range we need to bracket is this range here. Buy above there, sell below here. Everything else is just grist for the mill. Mark's got it right. He says SIM stands for Stay Out of Insane Markets. The range is so tempting, but it's like tossing darts, really. You have no idea which way it wants to go. Yeah, you're right, Joe. He says the market's been teasing the bulls and the bears. And I would agree with that. I'm just snooping around a little bit here. I don't think there's much going on. Crude oil very much sideways. The British pound actually today had a couple decent opportunities. I should have perhaps been focusing on that. Here's the pound. We had a sell signal near the open, or the North American open anyways, and a nice progression lower. This was a hard edge bounce, which we probably could have covered like that. So the pound being a little subdued, but better follow through than what we're seeing here on the NQ. And crude oil, like I say, crude oil's just been very much sideways. Let's see here. Mark's asking about soybeans. Soybeans have been a little bit on the bearish side. And I'm just going to let the soybean chart load. Yeah, not so much going on with soybeans today. Here's soybeans on the Falcon. And we had them open up here. So an early trend change signal followed by a proper trend change signal drifted down here to the median line, which I suppose is fairly predictable. And now they're just kind of wandering. Yeah, see you, Jim. Jim says, I'm going to the Home Depot. First micro macro cross here on the hawk. Let's see whether or not there's any follow through on that one. They still tend to be pretty reliable. Oh, well, we found our first profit target. That's good. And I think that's all we're going to get out of that one. And look at that, right back to where we started. No, not much going on. Yay, 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 yay. Yeah, well, you know what, guys? I think we're going to button things up a little bit early here again. It's just not a tradable day today. I honestly believe that until it gets outside of this monster range that we see here on the Raptor chart, you're really flipping a coin. I suppose you could. The other thing you could do, if you could cover the range, is you could buy or sell, take your pick, and just cover to the other side. If I had to choose, well, if I had to choose, I think I'd be a buyer. So there you go. All right, reminder, Wednesday's session is in the public trading room at our open house room. So I guess I'll see you guys there. But this is not a real money trading day, unfortunately. Just a whole lot of whipsaws. All right, you guys, we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Talk to you then. Bye for now.